What are you eating? Are you eating ice cream, perhaps? No, you're eating your pudding.
Potato salad.
Yogurt shit. Oh, never mind. Potato salad.
They're all slack, you fucking moron!
Welcome, everybody, to Scream Share, a movie podcast where we watch the Scream movies, at least for a couple months. I'm Adam, and as always, I'm joined by...
Calder.
Nailed
the
it that
record will
time.
not show this, but Adam was an absolute dick to me seconds before the recording started.
What? What are you
He goes,
talking
"What are you
about?"
eating?" He goes, "What are you eating? You're pudding shit."
I said
That's
pudding in
making
yogurt.
me big and strong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
The
I
plain
never said
yogurt,
anything against
no
it.
sugar with the fat-free pudding mix, and then a little banana mixed in. That makes me a big, strong, healthy boy. What's the last thing you ate? Piss and shit straight to your mouth?
Chili and rice is the last thing I ate.
Yep.
But
And
I'll
they-
admit there were crushed up sweet chili Doritos in there. I won't lie to you.
What?
Just a couple.
Are you
Just-
joking?
Just a couple crushed up.
You
just
put
had
Doritos in the chili?
just a couple little crushed up. What? No one's ever put chips on a sandwich before? All of a sudden I'm imprisoned for putting chips in some chili? Add a little
Okay,
bit of
so hold
crunch, add a
on.
little bit of flavor.
Hold on.
Just
I watched a video about this recently.
yeah.
You strawmanned me there.
Did I?
They never said anything about chips on a sandwich, though there is some issues with that. That
Sure.
we can talk about later. Number 2, putting the sweet chili heat Doritos in the chili is insane.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
You can't just say, "What do you mean why?" when someone asks why. You need to give a reason.
There
That's
are
why
two
they ask
things
why.
you can eat with chili that are carb-based.
Okay.
Crackers.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Buttered slice of bread.
That's fair. That's fair.
You cannot put the sweet chili heat Doritos in the chili.
Why not? No, I didn't put it in the chili. I had chili and rice. Mix it up. There's like, it's probably like a 70 to 30. No, it's probably like 60-40 chili to rice ratio.
60 chili?
60 chili. So like, it's still mostly chili, but like, it's quite a bit of rice in there. And then I add just a couple crushed up sweet chili heat Doritos to 1, add some crunch, but to 2, add a little more, like, dryness a little bit, because with that much chili, it's very sloppy, very...
Sorry?
It's very sloppy, very wet, is what I was going to say about chili.
I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say here, man.
I
It's
just want you to
like-
be like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. You put some
No, it is a big
crushed up sweet
deal,
chili
but I
heat
don't think
Doritos
there's
in
a...
your
You know,
You
you're
don't
much
think we're gonna
like...
come to a
You're much
solution.
like the alt-right of the America, where it's just there's no changing your mind on some topics.
You could change my mind on it. You just haven't brought anything up. All you've said is that I'm insane. That's the only point you've made.
I mean, but I've been telling you this for years, that you're sick in the head.
Yeah, but like you haven't brought
And you still have
any
done nothing
concrete-
about it.
You haven't brought any concrete to the construction site. How do you like that instead
Well-
of saying you haven't brought any concrete evidence?
There's some issues with that as well.
You haven't brought any concrete.
I have been
Mix.
thinking recently about getting into the aggregate business.
Aggregate?
It's what they call sand and gravel used for concrete.
Mm.
Because they got that shit everywhere, man. Aggregate. Anyway, 3 things for you. Number 1, we went to a wedding between our
Yes, we did.
recordings.
We did.
And I would like everyone on the podcast to know I was voted the hottest little piece of ass at the wedding,
So they didn't.
which was
they
really
don't
fun.
do that
I was
at
really
weddings.
happy. Well, most of the ones I end up going to because they see me.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna tell 2 truths right now. One, there was
And a lie.
no vote on who the hottest little piece of ass was
And
at the
that's
wedding.
the
That's not a
lie.
thing that happened. Nope, that's the truth. But the other truth is, I did talk to a couple people just around the dance floor, and I had at least 3 people separately, unprompted, say, "Who was that tall guy beside you in the groomsman line? He was a hot little piece of ass."
Oh yeah, who? The
Groom's
bride's
mom,
father.
bride's mom, bride's brother were the 3.
Bride's brother. He was beside me.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, he leaned over you to talk to me and said, "Who's this guy in between us?"
But it makes sense that the moms were into me. That is kind of my.
We got to wrap this part up. We got we got to wrap this part up. I don't know if it's
Well, we can move on from that. But I was voted hottest little piece of ass.
No.
The next one is Wonder Man. You seen this? You heard about this?
Nope.
You seen this?
I've heard about this, not seen it.
It's pretty good. I was like the first Marvel show that I actually enjoyed. First Marvel thing I've actually enjoyed.
It's pretty good. I was the first person to see it. Nobody's watched it yet.
Yeah, no one. I don't think anyone's heard of it before.
Yeah.
Ya Abdul Mateen is really good. Mm-hmm. And he's good in like everything he's in, but I think this is like a real character, so that's nice.
Nice.
I also did like him in the Watchmen show, the Regina King Watchmen show. You ever watch that?
No, but I remember when you watched it, you did talk to me about it and said it was good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It does Wonder Man and that show, but I think that show to a better effect. Does the isolated episode that's in black and white. So like one episode is just about a character not really related to the main timeline, but related to the world thing. I don't know how I feel about that right now. I'm kind of 50-50 on it.
They did it in Wonder Man, or
they did it in Wonder Man and Watchmen.
Oh,
but the Watchmen one was better, in my opinion. And they do it in other shows as well. But I tend to like the episodes a lot, but also I don't love the idea of people making shows and then just being like, we're going to make something so we have to like go back and have a episode that's not directly related to whatever plot we're doing. Does that make sense?
I think I get what you're trying to say, but I'm unsure about how
I just find it weird.
You find it weird that they make episodes that are unrelated to the show?
With like they're usually set in the past, so none of the characters are in it that are in the show for like the first 4 or 5 episodes. Yeah. It's like a spin-off within the show.
Yeah. A little
And then-
weird. I feel like some shows do it well if it's like kind of tied in. Like the Last of Us season 1 did that. I believe it was like episode 3 of season 1 where it was just about shit. I know what Bill and
Is this Nick Offerman and his husband?
yes. And that episode is like entirely about them, and it like it starts like way at the beginning of the outbreak, and then it kind of does a bunch of little time jumps and basically tells their whole story. But it starts and ends with the characters that are focused on for the rest of the show as a way to like tie it in, where it's like it uses them to introduce that side story, and then it uses them to get back into the main story, and it kind of like relates and affects what's actually happening. I have also seen shows like what you're talking about where it's just like they just go do it. Like, is it adding context that is needed?
Sort of. Spoilers for Wonder Man. It's not big spoilers. But basically, superheroes can't work on Hollywood sets. Wonder Man wants to be an actor. And so the clause is called the Doorman clause because there was a guy who had a power, and his name was the Doorman because people could go through him and things could go through him. And then Josh Gad jumps into him and gets lost within his void. And it's basically just telling that story, but it doesn't seem super necessary because it could just be something where it's like, you know, because of the Doorman clause. And we just like thing that exists. Like that's something that has happened a lot in like previous sci-fi things where they just say something and then it's like that exists out there. Maybe there's an explanation coming. Maybe it'll be in something else. But like, feeling the need to like give the full context for that incident to maybe like pad out episodes or like season length or whatever reason. I just don't love it.
I remember even Marvel in the past has like had little shorts. Like they had one of the first ones they did was one where it was like Agent Coulson like talking to someone in a fucking bar or something like that. But it was released as a separate like little short film that just like gave some extra context to something. I feel like you could just do that if you really wanted to do it. You can release it with the show. But like,
yeah,
I don't know. It does. I do find, I agree with you that sometimes it feels a bit weird to just like randomly take a side to do something else.
But the one in Watchmen I think is good. Because it kind of tells, like they both kind of tell a whole contained story, but it's much more related in Watchmen to like the actual
What's
plot of the
going
show than like the one in Wonder Man. It's just kind of like explains a clause that some actors that actors with superpowers have to deal with, and like the reason why they can't be open about having powers on set. When honestly, it's just like you could explain that in like 2 sentences in an episode. Like you don't really need a whole episode to explain that. Whereas within Watchmen, it kind of explains the whole backstory of like the first hero in this world, and like, yeah, it's a very good episode. I don't really want to spoil that. I don't care about spoiling Wonder Man because no one's watching. I don't think anyone will. But it's a good show. It's a fun show.
Cool.
And then lastly, now this one's serious. And I honestly want you to like, do you have tissues close?
I have some paper towels.
Okay. Just in case you get an emotional here.
Okay.
Did you see when Clavicular got frame mogged by the ASU frat leader?
I almost hung up the call, but I didn't know how that would affect the
Did you see
recording.
when Clavicular got frame mogged by the ASU frat leader? I saw that and I literally fell to my knees at work. I was crying and screaming on the ground. I was inconsolable.
Is that what you do at work?
When Clavicular gets frame mogged, yeah, and his cortisol levels spike like crazy, yeah.
I can't even begin to respond because I have no idea what you could even be talking about at all. So like I can't even make a joke.
Can I give you like can I give you a TLDR?
You got to do 3 sentences max is the TLDR.
Okay. Maybe you police the sentences because I'm not going to be able to keep track of that.
Okay, I'll give you 5.
Clavicular is a Twitch streamer who is a looks maxer who does things like allegedly, I don't think he'll sue us, but just to be safe.
Sure.
Allegedly does like heroin or meth to be skinny and punches himself in the face and hits himself in the face with hammers so that his face is more manly looking. And I think allegedly got a clavicle widening surgery. And I think has also gotten some sort of facial constructive surgeries and like hairline and stuff like that to make his looks maxing more effective. That's sentence 1.
Good. It's okay. Lots of commas.
He went to ASU because his Twitch streams are basically him taking pictures with girls and just walking around and people saying mean things to him. And his fan base is mostly like Nazis and like real little pieces of shit. And he kind of is like a Nazi racist as well, allegedly.
You have 3 fingers up, so that means you're at 3 sentences.
No. And put the hand down now. I can't incriminate myself. But he went to ASU and he met a frat leader who frame mogged him.
What
now,
does
do you
that
know what
mean?
frame? Okay.
No, not even
So
a little
frame
bit.
mogging, from what I understand, is okay.
You all of a sudden
man's-
acting like you don't know what you're talking about. From what I understand.
It's just so hard to explain because it's so ridiculous.
Sure.
So a man's frame is their, I think, physical presence, from what
Sure.
I've gathered.
Well, yeah, I'd assume their frame is like kind of the space that they take up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so getting frame mogged is when a guy with a better frame or a more dominant frame mogs you. You understand mogging.
I understand
of course.
mogging.
Okay.
I think, for the most part.
This ASU frat president literally looks like they stuck arms. Like, you know when you would draw a person and try to like draw their full body instead of just a stick person?
Yeah.
And then you have like those big gaps between their armpits and their body, and they look like aliens, and like they're kind of like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is what this guy looks like in real life. And so everyone was saying he was getting frame mogged, and you could see his cortisol levels spike in the video clip. And so this is bad for Clavicular because he's kind of like the deity for these little incel looks maxing kids. Because yeah. So thoughts?
Now, do you
or-
think the response is going to be to rethink their focus and obsession with this guy who has clearly an unhealthy obsession with his physique? Or do you think they're just going to swerve their worship over to the guy that frame maxed him? Or do you think they're just going to like be in denial and still worship the same guy?
Okay, so number one, he frame mogged him.
What did I say?
Frame maxed.
Oh, sorry. My apologies.
So let's keep it straight here. Number two, I think Clavicular is already at the point in his Twitch career where he's getting assaulted on the streets by people, and people come up to him and say like Nazi things, which is about when the downfall starts, from what I understand, with Twitch streamers. And then he like ends up,
Well, then he moves to Kick, and then he's fine.
But he's
Probably
already at that
probably
point
already.
where like he's gonna be view botting soon on Kick
Yeah.
instead of like having real viewers on Twitch. So I think we've got another like 6 or 7 months of Clavicular, and then we're kind of moving on from him.
Well, I'm just moving on to him for the first time in the past 5
Don't
minutes
move
or
on
so.
to him.
Well, you're
Now,
moving me on to him.
The thing about Clavicular is the name is really good because it feels good to say.
Clavicular?
Yeah. Like there's
I
just
want to say
something about it.
clavicular manslaughter is what I want to say.
Yeah. Like it's just like clavicular. Like it just sounds good, but he is, from what I have gathered, just an absolutely horrendous
So what
person.
you're hoping is that he'll start view botting on Kick, move off of Twitch, and then you can change your Twitch name to that.
No.
you Or maybe called Vicular.
I think the best case scenario is in 10 years, I'm like doing dishes and then I have a memory spike and I'm like, what the fuck is a clavicular? And then I remember.
What about Clavicalder?
No, because I don't think I want to court the fan base that's this
You don't
guy.
want to associate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he would like, some kids came up to him and they're like, say Hail Hitler. And he was like, and then he was like, those guys are kind of cringe. Like he's 19. Like he's like a little past at 19.
There, I
already.
will say, like, they've always been around, but there has been what feels like an increase in streamers that are just these like IRL streamers who just go in public and are like fucking obnoxious teenagers, but some of them are like over 30 fucking years old acting like little children at a fucking grocery store or some bullshit. And it's like the content is just like like a snotty piece of shit, really. It's like that's the
Yeah.
content.
They're calling it rage baiting, but a lot of it is like
Yeah.
you're a piece of shit or you're committing crimes.
Yeah. Rage baiting is like hovering your finger in front of someone's face and going, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you. What they're doing is like the like life-size version of that,
Life size.
if that makes sense. Where they're
Well-
doing it like they're going out and doing that. instead of just like doing it to your little cousin or something.
If there was one franchise that would be able to sort of talk about this in a real way and, have some sort of take on this, it's probably Scream. Because you frame these like absolute freaks, looks maxers, rage baiters as the killers. That's not really what this one does, though.
No.
So we're talking Scream 3 today.
Horrible. Like, you tried, and I was like, I was trying to be like, yeah. Great. The most clunky segue I think that has happened, but that's okay.
I could just tell you were like really not into me. It came out February 4th, 2000.
Not into me? Sorry.
Yeah, you're just not into me right now. Almost doubled the budget of the last one, $40 million. And you can kind of feel it because there's a lot more stunts in this one.
A lot more stunts.
And, like,
it looks better. The sets are better.
Yeah.
The
And
writing is better, if I'm allowed to say.
really interesting. We'll talk about that a little bit, but part of it, like, this movie has a different vibe for sure. And I think part of it is bigger budget, but also one thing that this movie had to kind of contend with, because it talks about it a fair amount in the first two, is that not that it happened, but like it has those vibes, is like Columbine happens after the second one. So then there's a lot of debate of like, how do we make a Scream where it's like kids killing kids in a post-Columbine world? And so they move it out of high school completely, like out of
Good call.
pretty much out of the school world.
Out of Woodsboro.
Yeah, the first one out of Woodsboro. And then also make it a little, not necessarily less violent, but less bloody, and also a little more spectacle heavy. In my opinion.
It's spectacle heavy. It also, I feel like, focuses on the characters more. I do agree. I didn't really notice during the movie necessarily, but like, yeah, it's a lot less like. Well, there's still quite a bit of like blood and stabbing, but it's like not as much.
I think if you watch it again, you'd realize like there's a lot of implied blood, but there isn't actually a lot of blood, which is like, I don't know. I'm not out here like a vampire thirsting for it or something. But I just think it's interesting to like see these differences, because also a lot of the chase or like encounters with Ghostface are more like action chase scenes.
Yeah.
Whereas before it would be like Dewey's stabbed and he's bleeding out and his body's dragging down the soundproof glass, and Gale is like kind of just running in a straight line away or like looking at him or whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas in this one, it's like Sydney's running up around the house. She's, doing all this stuff. She almost falls off the set. Like,
Yeah.
there's crazier stuff going on in this one. And I think partially that is like the idea that it's in Hollywood, so they amp it up a little bit. But also I think a lot of it is just like, how do we make this more like entertaining for a mass audience who might not want to see gallons and gallons of fake blood on the screen.
Yeah. Yeah. I do also feel like, I mean, I feel like they were able to address the kind of movie violence thing. They were able to address it pretty naturally because they addressed it a little bit in the last two, and especially in the last one they talked about it. But in this one they like really lean into it, and I kind of like that that's kind of an underlying thing, because it's not as much about the violence in movies and sex on TV, but it's more about like the narrative and discussion around it. Like, it's showing all of these execs being like, we don't want to put out a movie that when people are talking about how movies cause violence. And it's like, that's not really the cause of it.
No.
But
I mean, back then, though, there was a lot of hand-wringing about this.
well, there still is
Now-
sometimes. But they kind of moved from movies to video games is the truth. It went from like they're watching this stuff and it's desensitizing them, making them want to go kill people. And then it turned to the video games are literally they are programmed to kill in Call of Duty, and they go out like it kind of just. I mean, even Columbine, like video games are already in the discussion, but like, I do like how they address it in the movie, and I feel like they're able to do that because there was already kind of a precedent for it in the last two.
One thing they add into this one that I think is very weird, not like weird and, well, you'll see. I don't know if you know this. This is a Weinstein-produced movie.
I'm pretty sure the last two were as well.
Yeah, but this one has a direct reference to a guy who is a sex pest.
Yeah,
Hollywood.
and there's multiple points where they're doing the whole like mansion run around,
and they're like secret tunnels.
There's secret tunnels. There's literally like a one-way mirror into a master bedroom with like almost like a viewing area.
Yeah. So it is. There was a bit of a re-look at this movie post Weinstein in 2017, where everyone's like, this is kind of fucking weird that he produced a movie about a guy that does the shit that he does. Allegedly. I don't know what's going on with
I
that
think
case,
he's
so
still
we'll say
going
allegedly.
through fucking trials and shit.
He's still faking a limp or whatever.
No, I was literally going to say, crazy how he was completely fine, and then they were like, we're going to put you in jail for the rest of your life for
like,
being
I've
a
never
horrible,
walked
horrible guy.
before.
And he's like, yeah. I probably shouldn't do an impression because some people are genuinely like that, but
I mean,
fuck
you
that
know,
guy.
maybe he is, but it is.
Here's the thing, even if
Not
he is, he's a horrible, horrible man. So,
But it's very like this movie. They didn't have to do that,
no.
and I don't really
don't
understand
mind
how that squeaks in.
I don't even mind like the narrative of like, oh, like when the like big movie producers like, oh, like back in the day, it like the way Hollywood was run was like you'd kind of just like do what you had to get in rooms with the right people. Like it I feel like it would be different if it was this producer being like, this is the way things used to happen, like,
Yeah.
whatever. But then there's like a precedent set where, like I said, we go in the mansion and there's all these fucking secret tunnels and like viewing
Well, then even
areas
the-
for sex parties, and then the fucking guy comes back in at the end and he's like, I'll give you whatever you like. He's still being that guy, and it's like almost implying that just is the way, not like saying it was the way.
Well,
Which-
even the star of Stab, the one that's playing Sydney, says, I didn't fuck that guy to get this part for no reason, or like to die on set or something. And so it's like, it's still happening.
Yeah.
And I think some of it's played for drama, but like when she's running away and she's like, I didn't fuck him to get this part and die in a mansion for no reason. I think that's initially played for comedy when this is released. But it's not funny anymore because, like, at a time, I think it was like, rumors of whatever, someone slept with whoever to get a part. But now it's like, we know that is happening with the guy that helped make this movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
It's a little weird. It also felt like kind of just unnecessary. I don't know. And kind of unrelated to the whole thing. Like, there's also a point where another one of the actresses in the movie, when the director is like being taken away because they think that he called the latest victim, she says something like, shouldn't have slept with him. It's like, oh, so there's two so there's two different actresses who slept with two different men in power on this movie.
And it's like a funny thing.
And both are played for like, ha ha ha, they slept with the men who had power over them.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay. And it's like, and then there's a silence after both of those parts. Both of those parts, I'm even pretty sure like one or two characters in those scenes like have a moment where they're like, huh? Like, leave a little beat for for a laugh and be like, "Did you hear what she said?" And it's like, yeah, she just said that she was taken advantage of.
Yeah. Yeah, we just heard it, guys.
We did hear it, yeah.
I think it's just, this movie is a very strange relic because it has so many like external factors,
Dude.
like even in the future, all like kind of messing with it.
Yeah.
And it's also like just fine, you know? Like I don't
Well,
think I have
so-
to watch this ever again.
So here's the thing. This is twofold. One, especially after that conversation we just had about that aspect of the movie with the Weinsteins and all the fucking weird shit in the movie. The first sentence of my overall thoughts is I think this may be my favorite one. I don't know if, like, we'll see how the episode goes, but that might change. It's already kind of changing. But
To be fair to you, this one is more fun. Like it feels more fun. It's a little more jokey.
That's the thing. I wrote, I don't
yeah.
love which we'll get into this, but I wrote, I don't love the voice changer or Sid going kind of insane. But I do feel like the characters were more well-rounded and more grounded, despite it also leaning into the goofiness a little more. Like, I feel like the good parts of this movie were like getting to see Dewey and fucking Gale and Sid, like seeing them together and doing stuff, because I care. I'm at the point now where I care about those characters, and they're also, when I said earlier that the show's written better, I mostly meant like the characters are written better, at least those three. But then at the same time, there's also a lot more like corny as hell one-liner bullshit in this one. So it's like there are aspects of this movie that honestly, it's similar to the last one where I'm like, there's so many aspects that are well improved for this, but there's also a lot of like dumb bullshit that's only getting dumber and bullshittier.
So I will say this is a different writer than the first two.
Okay.
Kevin Williamson wrote the first two. This one is Aaron Kruger, who would go on to write the American version of The Ring, 3 Transformers movies, and not the 2 that you're thinking of, Top Gun Maverick, and F1 later on.
Okay.
So he becomes like a well-established kind of blockbuster movie writer. And I think part of it is like, you know, you're picking the right guys. Mm-hmm. But he gets, I don't even know what part of it is. I think it's just like there's a little less of a serious tone to this one that works when you put them into the like weird world of Hollywood. And then I think, honestly, the thing that was keeping me going throughout a lot of this movie was Parker Posey as, who is she supposed to play in the movie? Like Tatum? Oh, no, Gale.
Yeah.
The actress who plays Gale.
She, for the first like third of the movie, I was like, oh, she's like, I was so annoyed. And then she really started to grow on me. I think the turning point was once she was like, Gale, I'm just going to fucking follow you around all day. Because if the killer tries to kill me and they see that you're there, they're going to go for you instead. But then also like proves to be useful and like trying to help.
Yeah.
But also is still kind of dumb and makes dumb decisions and says dumb stuff. So like,
I think it's just like a fun performance. And she's
Yes.
just very good.
Yes. That's the thing. I feel like the movie doesn't take itself as seriously, but like I feel like the characters take everything more seriously while also being more unserious. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of goofier, dumber characters. Well, there's always been, but like,
Yeah.
which by the way, did literally every member of the cast of fucking Stab 3 die?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You're trying to see if someone would carry on to the next movie? Or?
Yeah, I was like, maybe
Yeah,
one.
no.
Which the poor
And-
fucking, what was his name, Tyson?
Yeah.
Dude, he was like, I'm going to stay away from all of you because you guys don't know what to do and I'm trying to survive here. And then they run to him and he instantly gets stabbed and thrown out a window. It's like he was doing fine. And then all those, anyway.
So let's just go work our way through the movie here a little bit.
Sure.
Starts with Cotton on the freeway.
Yeah.
And the big initial kill here is Cotton Weary, which
Well, the first kill is his girlfriend.
oh, I guess so.
Excuse me, sorry.
And it's like we learn about the voice changer in this kill, which we'll probably have like a 15-minute conversation about the voice changer because it's ridiculous. But the first kill is Cotton. He is like driving home from his show 100% Cotton or whatever.
There's like that's a
crazy.
That is a crazy name. And there's like some massive citywide traffic jam where like
I mean, it's just in LA. I
everybody's
think that's
complaining
what they're
about it.
saying.
Everyone's honking. That he calls 911 and they're like backed up because everyone's calling 911 because the traffic's so bad. But also, once he finds out his girlfriend might be murdered, he's able to just go home.
He just drives.
Yeah, the traffic disappears so that he can get home. It's like,
Well, anyway. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And this is where you can kind of like feel the difference, because with the other ones there's a lot more suspense in the first kill, and this one it feels more like an action scene. Like she's fighting Ghostface a bit, and then Cotton comes in, and then there's like the bit of a standoff between like,
because she
is
thinks
Cotton
that
the killer?
he was
Has he gone
Ghostface
crazy?
because the guy was using the voice changer.
but then Cotton and the killer like basically have a full-on like action set piece where they're like throwing each other around.
Yeah, Cotton
like-
actually fights back.
Yeah. Which doesn't happen much in the other ones. Like the other ones are someone is getting brutally murdered, like not being able to fight back really.
Yeah.
Which I guess the other ones, they also kill women for the most part. But
Yeah.
maybe that's why. Maybe that's what Bob was cooking up with him and his Weinstein brother. I still find it crazy.
It is crazy.
The voice changer. I don't
let's
think
just
it's
talk
a
about it.
good. I don't think it's good that they introduced it in this first scene, because then there's no twist to how it works. or
Yeah,
what
it
is,
kind of
'cause
just ends
anytime
up being a
someone's
bit
on the phone-
annoying.
Yeah,
for the
anytime
viewer.
someone's on the phone, you're like, okay, this probably isn't that person. So it
Yeah,
doesn't
and usually
really
you're
make
able
the
to
phone
tell
calls
pretty
matter.
quick. Like there's literally a scene where Sid's like, all right, I guess I'm staying at the police station. The next scene is Dewey getting a phone call from Sid's voice being like, I'm going to this mansion party. So
Yeah.
the viewers, which like, I guess the suspense is the viewer being like, no, they don't know it's not Sid. But like, I'd rather just be like, wait, didn't she literally just say she was staying at the... And then we find out,
Yeah.
because that's the thing. You literally find out about the voice changer immediately. The characters
Mm-hmm.
don't find out about it till like halfway through the third act, and it's
Yeah.
like finally they fucking, because they just keep making mistakes that are related to not knowing about the voice changer.
Yeah. Which is a piece of technology that is so ridiculous, especially at this time,
Yeah,
that it's almost unbelievable.
yeah,
That you can perfectly imitate anyone's voice and
Yeah.
speak anything through this thing, and it will sound exactly like
Yeah.
them.
yeah.
Like, you can't even do that with AI now.
I thought at
And
least
we're
there was
dumping
going to be
lakes
a
into the
moment
thing.
where Ghostface revealed themselves and was like, and I was using a voice changer, and then like went to do the voices and like was at least doing a bit of an impression, and the voice changer was
No.
doing the rest. No, it's implied that he literally goes, "Hey, Dewey, come and get me," and through it comes Neve Campbell's voice.
Yeah, that's like, hey,
Like-
Dewey, come and get me.
Yeah, like
Like, completely. Like, when Gail finds it and then she, like, speaks into it and sounds exactly like Dewey, I was like, okay, guys.
And
like,
Dewey's
what
right
the
there
fuck
and
is
goes,
this?
"What?" Which, by the way, there's also a bunch of shitty ass ADR in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, and it's usually Dewey ADR, which I found interesting. Half the time I'd be like, "Who is that talking?" And then I'd be like, "Oh, it's supposed to be Dewey," but it's so clearly recorded way later in a different fucking room. Anyway,
yeah. We have then we learn about Sydney fully isolating herself and working at a crisis hotline for women. Cool, gets her base. It gives her a place to be for like the first half of the movie, basically.
yeah, and I also like that finally there's something established of like she has been put into a situation where she can't be found by a killer.
Yeah.
Because she's like using a different name, she's like living isolated, she's working a job where like she kind of like her history makes her very good at the job, but like she's away, and like
Yeah.
the first half of this movie is essentially like excuse me, Ghostface being like, "Where the fuck is she?" And it
Yeah.
being like he actually can't find her. He does manage to find the phone number eventually. They don't really go into that at all, explaining how that happened.
It's just a way for her to get to California. I
Yeah,
think.
exactly. But like it is a thing of like she can't really just be out there by herself, like fully isolated from anybody and everybody. Like that's not
It's like she talks to her dad a bit at the beginning, and he's like, "You gotta like talk to some people, like
yeah.
you know, you can't live all alone." But whatever. It's like honestly, they kind of sideline her for the first half, and it's really like
It's a Dewey
Gail
and Gale
Dewey.
story, yeah.
yeah. Now
For the
Gail,
first half.
her haircut and outfit are. It's just an absolutely fuck ass haircut and outfit.
Yeah, it's not
combination.
ideal.
I don't know what the hell they were doing to her head there. I think they closed their eyes when they cut her hair, but it's, you know, whatever. And also she is just the worst again at the start of the movie.
Yeah,
Every
they
movie,
just
she's
keep,
the absolute worst, and then she gets better.
she was less the worst at the beginning of this movie compared to the beginning of the last two.
Yeah.
And then they literally end with her like saying yes to marrying Dewey. So it's like if the next movie they're in it again, and they're back to like Dewey being like, "Gail Weathers comes around whenever someone's stabbed, I guess," and then she's like, "Come on, Dewey, come on!" Like it's like. One of those impressions was better than the other.
The Gail
but
one,
like
or the Dewey one was good.
nice, but like it's the same shit every time, and I'm kind of getting a little. I guess it's only technically happened twice where they do that, but
I
like,
know, but it's 3 times.
well, no, only twice because the first time there was no precedent for it. I mean,
I guess,
it's,
but she sucks at the beginning of that one, and then by the end, you think she's like good, moral, normal person, and then immediately she sucks again, and then immediately she sucks again.
yeah.
I don't know. We'll see what happens in the next one. I haven't seen this one like number 4 recently, so
Okay.
I've kind of
I
forgotten
will
most
say
of it,
something I was going to
except
say
for the
earlier
ending.
was there is a Randy cameo despite him being dead where randomly I guess his sister shows up just in
That's so
Hollywood and is
goofy.
like, "I'm here to give you this VHS we found," and it's Randy being
she
like,
plays the best friend in the Princess Diaries, if you've seen those.
"Okay."
That was important.
Yeah. I mean, you were just trying to give context to who that was. I haven't seen Princess Diaries.
Well, because I saw her and I was like, I've seen her before.
I
I
had
don't know
that with
why.
Angelina, who is the actress.
Oh, that's
who was,
Emily Mortimer.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I looked up her IMDb. I saw that she was from Hugo. I saw that she was from fucking
I think she's in Punch Drunk.
that.
And
That wasn't. Was that that was her in Punch Drunk?
I believe so.
Punch Drunk Love.
Oh no, that was someone else. Sorry.
Yeah, I thought so. It looked a bit different. What was her name again?
Emily Mortimer. She's in Paddington, in Peru.
Okay, I definitely
I've seen
recognized
that one.
her
You're
from
a
that.
Paddington boy.
But there was something else.
She's in a
What the
lot of shit, man. Cars.
Oh, Lars
Shutter
and the Real
Island?
Girl. Oh, and The
Love
Newsroom
Lars.
was the main one that I recognize her from. I haven't seen The Newsroom, but like I've seen a lot of clips. That's something I get a lot on like YouTube Shorts and
Who's
shit.
in the Punch Drunk Love? Emily Watson.
There you go.
I
Have
think
you seen Lars
British
and the Real
people
Girl?
named No, I don't watch things like that.
It's pretty good. Anyway,
They also look the same.
but she's someone where I was like, what the fuck do I know you from? I spent most of the movie thinking she was Ghostface. And then
I think that's fair. There is the weird scene where she's like in the bathroom,
Literally
in
with all the
Ghostface
Ghostface
boots, and steps up on the toilet. Because
Well,
she's,
also
like,
she
stealing
keeps
it.
being like obsessed. There were also just a lot of scenes where she was like being very strange, and like when they're in the mansion, they're like talking about all the secret rooms and stuff and how there were like parties there, blah blah blah. And she's like, I would have loved to see it, or something like that. And I was like, she's being very obsessive about like this time around when Sid's mom was like I thought maybe there was a connection there. I kind of felt
Yeah.
for a while that what's his fucking name? King Cow or something? King Kane?
Who's this?
That's Patrick Dempsey, Dr.
right.
Handsome or whatever the fuck his name
Completely
from.
McDreamy.
McDreamy.
Yeah, I completely forgot he was in this. He
Yeah.
is like so absolutely bland.
Yeah, but here's
I
the thing.
just-
I thought that they were setting him up that he was going to be the killer, and that's like why he was on the case. He was like being very pushy about getting Sid involved with the case. Then there was the point where like he showed up at the end randomly and was like, "I heard there was a party here, so I thought I'd check it out." And it was like, "You said you were doing some other shit. Why are you here now?" And then Sid is like yelling at him to like explain himself, and there's a point where he like all of a sudden starts like smiling weird, like which I think was him realizing that she was being very paranoid and he needed to chill out for a second and let her like collect herself. But it seemed very coded, like a switch flipped and he was like, I don't know. So for a lot of the movie, I thought it was him as well. At
He's
no
just
point,
kind of doing his McDreamy thing, which is like a very bland, I'm a handsome guy, I'm just going to say it straightforward kind of a thing.
yeah,
Which can work, like works better when he's a doctor, kind of works when he's a cop. But like these movies are supposed to be kind of fun. I think his partner is a little better in terms of just
Yeah,
being like
I guess
more of
so.
an assholey cop.
but he's barely in it.
Assholey cop. But like I think that's more of the tone that needs to be struck.
Yeah,
Whereas Patrick Dempsey is just kind of like, you know, Sid, we're gonna go, you know, get your gun or whatever, and like, he's just kind of like a guy, like
he's kind of just
very-
there.
yeah. But that's kind of been.
There's
his-
also like a bit
that's
of a
kind of his
weird
thing,
like
I think.
sexual tension thing that happens when
Don't love that part because she
when-
is, I think, canonically 21 years old.
yeah, which I think he's
So-
supposed to be like relatively young as well. I think he's supposed to be like 27 or something,
Even
maybe a
so,
little
man.
older, but yeah, it was just a little weird power imbalance thing. It is a Weinstein project, so
I think one of the, like, kind of like the Sarah Michelle Gellar scene in 2. I think the Jenny McCarthy scene is also quite good, where she's
where she's trapped in
tricked.
the
to go
like, studio
see
office.
Roman, who is the director. Who is we can get into him near the end, but I think that's a pretty effective like little scene where she's running around. But again, more like action forward than some of like the Sarah Michelle Gellar one. That's much more like gruesome, I think. Like
yeah, that
she's
one's more
beat up.
gruesome and it's more like suspenseful. Like
Yeah.
Ghostface reveals himself relatively quickly in this one, and then it's kind of just chase scene for the most part.
Yeah. And can I tell you something that
Yeah.
you won't like? I'm going to absolutely shit my pants. So can you just go by yourself for like 2 minutes?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Unless you want me to do it on the pod.
Yeah, right now.
Or like standing in front.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, no, he's leaving. Let me look through my notes and try to find something to talk about that I don't necessarily need to talk to with Calder. I guess early on I thought that, like, an early prediction was that there was another, like, man and woman pairing as Ghostface. But then the voice changer was introduced. So I was like, oh. Because initially the woman was on the phone with Cotton in the car. And then it switched to man's voice when he's like, I'm going to kill your girlfriend. So I was like, oh, it's a woman and a man. But then they introduced the voice changer, and it's like, oh, never mind. I honestly kind of liked the intro a lot. I feel like both of the previous films, the intros were with characters we didn't know. And then they just like lightly they were just referenced by the rest of the characters in the movie, whereas in this one we started off with a character we knew, so the stakes were already kind of a little higher, and then obviously we get through the scene and he gets killed, and I feel like killing off a known character sets the stakes higher already, especially when in the last movie I guess Randy died, but it was mostly just a bunch of, like, the new characters being killed, which this movie is as well, actually. I guess they kill Cotton in the intro, and then they just kill a bunch of the new characters. So it's kind of the same thing, actually. Num, 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 num. Oh, yeah. Well, actually, that I do want to bring up to Calder. Oh, I wrote down that the two security guards, they had some zoom-in shot on two security guards standing in front of, like, the set door. And it just felt like they were setting up for them to be killed later, but it never happened. I really thought that was going to happen. He did say he was going to shit, didn't he? He said he was going to shit his pants. I don't feel like that's going to be, like, 1 minute. I feel like he's going to be gone for, like, at least, like, 5 minutes minimum. If he's shitting. Well, no. I think I'm just assuming that if he's like, I have to shit so bad, that it's going to be a bad shit. But it could just be that it's a normal shit, and it's knocking on the door. It's, like, ready to come out. So it could be relatively quick. I don't know. Oh, I mentioned this earlier. I won't have to retread this, but, like, I mentioned that I don't love the voice changer or Sydney going insane or whatever. I just don't love it in movies whenever there's someone who, like, can't tell reality from not reality, and they just, like, have these, like, anxiety, like, hallucinations. I feel like it's just a way to introduce tension without actually doing anything. And, like, introduce, like... Oh, he's back. Here he comes. This boy looks emptier than he was before.
I think I just frame mogged the toilet.
Whoa.
What were you talking about?
I just talked about some stuff that
Wow.
we don't have to cover. I talked about how, like, I liked the intro that it was a known character that we started with and where it was killed. It kind of created higher stakes earlier on, which the other two movies were people we didn't know, and then it was
and I
just
think we were kind
referenced.
of done with Cotton for the most part too.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Well, as soon as he popped up on screen, I was like, oh, he's dying. For sure.
Yeah.
But, like, then I realized he is kind of the only known character that gets killed in this movie. The rest are all the new ones. So it's kind of the same as last time, but with Randy.
And I read that they actually put that Randy trilogy scene in, which is just so, like...
Well, I started to talk about that earlier, and then we moved on. So we can talk about that now.
Yeah, sorry.
No worries. I found it interesting. sorry, I found it to be an interesting. Oh yeah, so the sister coming in randomly and then just leaving. It felt so like we got to get a Randy cameo in here, which you don't. You don't need
At
a
the
Randy
time,
cameo.
there was a lot of outcry about them killing Randy.
Oh
And so
no,
the
they killed a
producers
character that
felt-
matters.
The producers felt like it was needed. Was it? No, because it doesn't really
No.
add anything.
No, in fact, if anything, what did I write about it? I wrote the Randy video is so corny, it's a little funny, but it doesn't quite land knowing that this is more than a trilogy. Because so much of it is talking about this being a trilogy, and I do think that like that kind of works because a lot of the things that Randy says is true about trilogies, but like is more importantly true about this movie. So it like it works in that way, but I don't feel like, aside from one scene where Sid asks fucking Detective Patrick Dempsey, like, what do you think of trilogies? Aside from that, the knowledge that they get from Randy is not applied at any time in any way.
Yeah.
Which really made it feel like, oh, it's just here so Randy can be in the movie. But like,
To be fair to them, on one point you said, they didn't know they were going to do a fourth one.
oh, I
'Cause
know,
the fourth one is like 12 years later.
I know.
So I think,
Which I do,
like,
which I think to say though, I do think this works as a trilogy pretty well.
yeah.
And
I
then
think
they did
the
more.
Randy videotape is just like goofy and not needed almost at all.
Yeah, and also he looks different than he did. Like, he looks older than he did when he died in the last one.
Well, like, why? Why would he do this?
Like, I guess it fits in his character just because he's like, I don't know, fucking annoying, weird, obsessive horror movie guy.
But he
like,
is thinking that he is like knows everything, so he's not going to break the rules. But I guess he did break the rules because he had sex. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think it's just like, it's just dumb. Let the guy die. And then it's not
Yeah.
even really funny when his brother or whatever's like banging on the door.
no.
It's just like, okay,
And
shut
all the
fuck up.
characters look at each other like, classic Randy. It's like, it's just him being like kind of a chode on like in a fucking dorm. Like, why is everyone
Yeah.
like, I don't know. Yeah, that was not needed.
And then
Yeah.
we pretty much go from that into them doing more research, going into the archives and meeting Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, crazy Carrie Fisher cameo. I was like, whoa, Carrie
Yeah.
Fisher. I wonder if they're going to make a reference to Star Wars. And it was
They
immediate.
did.
They
Yeah.
did. But it was a funny one. I did like that. What was the name? Bianca something.
Let me see. Oh, just says Bianca here. Oh well.
I did write it down. I'm just having a hard time.
Bernetta?
Bianca Burnett. I thought it was a funny bit. It being like clearly Carrie Fisher and then her being like, although yet another, which like Carrie Fisher has made jokes about this like many times, but like yet another joke that's like her being
Tried
like,
to
I
sleep.
lost the part to Carrie Fisher because she slept with George Lucas. It's like yet another fucking, anyway.
And then there is the slight bit where she says, "Well, you don't want to know who you look like to Gail,"
Yeah.
implying that Courtney Cox, I think, exists.
Yeah. Well, that's all. It's always weird to like they did it a bunch at the beginning of the movie when Gail gets to the set and like makes a comment to actress Gail about, what's her fucking name? Jennifer,
Posey.
about I'm sorry that like your relationship with Brad Pitt didn't work out. It's always like weird referencing real life actors
she
and
didn't even
actresses
date Brad
when there's
Pitt.
real life actors and actresses in the movie.
Courtney Cox and Brad Pitt never dated, though.
No, Courtney Cox made a reference to the actress who was playing Gail in the movie dating Brad Pitt, which is just like this weird, like false reality reference. But also, there's a lot of like bigger actor like appearances in this movie, so it's like, I don't know. It gets a little weird. I do think it's funny. It kind of reminds me of like Ocean's 12 Julia Roberts bit.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I think that one's like played off a little more seamlessly.
Yeah.
Because it's actually like part of the movie. Like
Yeah.
it's an integral part of the
It's not just
plot.
like, you look like you.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, good. I will say, after the... First of all, Carrie Fisher kills it. It's a small role, but she does great. But it might have just been because Carrie Fisher had just been on screen. But there's later a point where Ghostface gets on the phone with Sydney and is talking in like actual voice. And I was like, oh, that's Mark Hamill. And it wasn't Mark Hamill. But it sounded a lot like Mark Hamill. And I was like, oh, it's going to be like her fucking... Like Mark Hamill's going to pop up and be like, oh, I was like a producer that got fired because she finally was done with like being taken advantage of by all these producers, and I lost my job. I was the fall guy. It ruined my life. Like, that's what I thought it was going to be, which, like, thank God
that'd go
they
crazy
didn't do
in a
that.
pitch room, man.
Yeah. Well, Harvey Weinstein would probably have loved that pitch.
So another little piece of this movie that we haven't really talked much about, but we're kind of like, we're moving our way down to the end.
Yeah.
These Sydney dream sequences. What do you make of this?
Oh, so I did
These
talk
are
about
just
that
like-
a little bit when you were pooping.
Okay.
You
don't know what I was
just,
doing
in
there.
general, I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before. I don't really tend to love any kind of shit in a movie where it's like, oh, this person's having visions, dreams, hallucinations, anxiety attacks, whatever it is, that is just like, our character cannot differentiate reality from not reality, and just has these panic moments where like now there's high pitched sound effects and blurriness on screen, whatever the hell. Like, I just don't, just in general, I don't love those in movies. They're just unsettling in a way that's not like, oh, the movie's trying to unsettle me. It's more just in a way of like, this just feels, I just don't like it, I think, is the truth. It can be done well, but like 90% of the time I don't like it. In this movie especially, but kind of usually when those happen, it just feels like a cheap way to elicit a reaction out of the audience, while also like just putting some like making it tense for something that isn't happening, if that makes sense. Like,
It feels like they're just kind of like, we don't really have shit for Sydney to do here.
No.
So we're just going to make up something where it's like she's having visions of her like, why would she have visions of her mom as opposed to maybe like the 4 people who have tried to murder her?
well, and she's
Or,
having
like-
visions of her mom being alive, but also being mean to her.
Yeah.
And like acting like evil kind of in a way.
yeah.
But then she also has a vision of like seeing her mom alive, and then Ghostface popping up in a way that he would pop up if that were actually happening. But then she also just, so she had a hallucination of a jump scare that was baited by an alive version of her mom, and then later she has a hallucination of her mom under like a fucking, or
It's
no,
like a
that
dead
I guess
body.
that, yeah, like like a bloody curtain, and it's implied that that's a vision, and then later that actually happens. So like maybe the first time did
Well, I think
actually
that's-
happen, he just got
No,
away.
the first time, that's how, in the dream, she's seeing how she saw her mom's body when her mom was killed. And then they've reset it up for stab 3 to like rebuild that.
Which her falling
event.
off and then Dewey going to her and her being like, oh, there's someone up there, and then him being like, sorry, you weren't supposed to go in there. They were just setting up the scene for the murder scene. It's like, of course they were. Of course, like, obviously,
and then the
of
cop
course they
gets
were.
up there like 3 minutes later, and he's like, "There's no one up here."
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
yeah,
he left.
yeah.
What do you mean? There's no one up here?
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah,
I think just for the
I
most
just want to
part-
quickly go before. Just a little side note. Just before that was with the scene in the bathroom where she finds Angelina with the ghost face costume, and then Angelina leaves but has left her hairbrush. So even though she's being guarded at all times by police outside the bathroom door, she thinks, I'm gonna run into the like empty studio with this hairbrush.
Yeah.
Like, I will say Sid is like way smarter in this movie than I think any of the characters are in any of the movies, and way more capable in this movie. That was a moment. There were a couple moments, that one specifically, where I was like, what the, I think in all caps I wrote, why is Sid wandering away? Like, she just starts wandering. She doesn't even know that Angelina went that way. She just starts, and then she's like, oh, the house, goes into the, like, it's like, what are you doing? You know that this is a perfect scenario for you to get stabbed and killed and murdered.
Yeah. I think it's just like, there are just some things in this movie that are just a little dumb.
Yeah.
I think one interesting thing about that whole set piece, though, when she is getting chased around the house, is like, I think it's interesting seeing her go back to her old instincts, or like trying to go in rooms where she thinks she knows what the room is, but it's actually not, because it's not actually the house. I think seeing that's interesting. Her like using the door trick to lock the door.
Yeah, because she knows she did that before.
And that's very like, it's a very good last thing to, or I guess close to the end thing to like wrap up a sequel with.
Yes.
Where it's like you go back to the original place, have a little fight in there, use the knowledge you have, but then they also go to the fucking mansion, which is like...
The mansion probably could have been cut, because to be honest, the whole mansion thing is also a little sloppy. Like, there's some good stuff in there, but it's kind of just like a bunch of fucking running around. It probably should have just ended in that set.
There's probably a better ending where it's like, I don't even know, man. I don't know.
Like, you could,
like,
since you're tying it so much to her mom, and like, maybe next we'll get into the killer, and this will be the transition in that. But like,
the best one so far, I guess.
Roman, like, being obsessed with her mom, I guess his mom, like, it would have also made sense for him to be like, and now you're gonna die. Like, how appropriate that you're gonna die, like, where your mom died, and like do, like, it could have. It feels like it could have been wrapped up in such a better way instead of going to this fucking sex pest Weinstein mansion fucking bullshit at the end.
Yeah.
But they needed a reason to get all of the like actors there so they could all be
but
murder
also it's
fodder.
the movie set.
Yeah, so they could have anyway. And yeah, I don't know. That was probably Weinstein coming in and being like, "What if you did a thing where like there's."
What if I took you to my house?
Yeah. I was about to say it might literally just be his house.
Another little piece, Patrick Warburton playing a security guard, I think is just like kind of fun.
It's a good little role, yeah.
Gives
I
Dewey
liked
a bit
him
of a foil.
being like stabbed like 3 times and fucking like he got the knife stabbed like through him because he got it stabbed into him and then he got it pushed into him and then like stabbed a few more times. And then he comes fucking walking into the frame. And I don't even think, like, he says anything because he heard Dewey on the phone, but it wasn't really Dewey. It was the fucking stupid-ass voice changer. But, like, he walks in and he sees Dewey and he just goes, Dewey. And he's just, like, pointing at the phone and being like, you, the phone, and you.
Because he heard Dewey call him with the voice changer.
Yeah. So I think he's trying to be like, why did you kill me? I heard you through here. So I thought it was going to be a thing of like, oh, he's going to say Dewey did like
The
did
voice
that.
changer is so uninteresting.
I know, I hate it.
It's crazy.
But like, I thought he was going to in some way implicate Dewey, and then everyone except Gale, because Gale was with him, was going to be like, Dewey fucking kill, and it was just going to create this distrust,
the
whatever.
only time the voice changer really does anything is the first kill. Like where it creates distrust between people. It's the first one. Other than
the
that,
rest is just people being... It's either like they're tricked for like 2 minutes and then it's revealed and they're like, oh shit, I wasn't talking to who I thought I was talking to.
Yeah.
Or it's like at the end where they use Sid's voice to be like, go here, and they go there.
Yeah.
Like, the only time that distrust is really... You're right.
It's just used to trick people more than like actually sow distrust, which would be an interesting way to use the mystical technology.
Yeah, I guess right after they learn about the voice changer, there is the point where Gale is at the bottom of the stairs with the unconscious ghost face and calls Dewey, and Dewey's like, how do I know it's you? And like, the truth is, if he had just gone down there, they probably could have gotten him, because he took so long to go down, because he was like, how do I know it's you and not... Which I thought he was going to say, like, say something only the real Gale Weathers would know, or something like that, to kind of like build their characters together and their like relationship. I thought maybe she was going to say something embarrassing about him or something.
Yeah.
But
Doesn't she just,
instead,
like, yell at him.
well, she just goes, come on, just fucking get down here. And he's like, that's what he would say. And then the ghost face wakes up. And so it's like, oh, that was it. Like,
Pretty exciting though.
yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm pretty down on this movie as a whole.
Okay. Let's talk about the
Another
killer.
thing.
Oh, never mind. You go.
Well, this ties into the killer.
Oh, yeah.
Bulletproof vests play a serious role in the end of this movie.
Yeah.
The killer, Roman, who has been the director of Stab 3 and is trying to get...
Well, I think he
his
directed
career-
all the stabs, right?
I don't fucking know. But he's trying to get his career back on track. Is also, I guess, trying to kill Sydney because his mom was...
They share
him
a
and
mom.
Sydney have the same mom. And when he found Sydney's mom, she denied him and was like, you know, that lady is dead. Rena Riley or something. Reyes?
Rena Reynolds,
Rena Reynolds.
which was
She was
her
like,
Hollywood
Rena Reynolds
name.
is Rena Reynolds is dead. I don't want anything to do with you, which is like, all right, fair enough. Like, she had an illegitimate child with someone.
Which I
doesn't
did
really,
write down, like, this is the killer that has had, I think, the strongest motive out of anyone. Where it's like
Yeah.
an actual reason to want to kill. Like, I guess Billy Loomis's mom in Scream 2, like, there was some reason, but like a big part of that was still she was just insane.
But then Anthony takes credit for Billy Loomis.
Huh?
He's like, you think Billy Loomis was just like about like pissed off about like your mom sleeping with his dad? I knew I could get Billy to kill your mom, or you know, kill whatever. He
So
says
he's been
he
like the
takes credit for
mastermind the
Billy
whole
Loomis.
time.
He's Thanos.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it feels like he has a real motive, and he's like saying all this shit, and then she just interrupts him and is like, I've heard all this shit before. I don't fucking care. And he's like, no, like a fucking baby. But I kind of like that he, like you're saying, he's just kind of like saying all this bullshit about like apparently Billy Loomis. He's like unraveling his whole like master plan and whatever. That like I guess we should care about, but like I kind of don't. And then
Yeah,
she's like,
it
I
doesn't-
don't fucking care about this, and shoots
Yeah.
him. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So like that's
But
the
they're
nice
getting
thing.
shot. He got shot 26 times at the end there.
So that's the thing about a bulletproof vest. Like
With
he
a
can't.
handgun, if it's shot in the right places, like this is a low chance of survival. But you can take 6 shots with a handgun and have a small chance of surviving. Usually it's 1. or 2.
Yeah. He took like, there was a point in the movie where Dewey shot him like 4 times, and then he just like rolled under a car and ran away without anyone
and
seeing.
left a picture of Sydney's
Yeah,
mom.
he was like, ow, ow, here's a little picture of Sydney's mom, and then ran away.
That is also another weird part of this that he's
Oh
like,
yeah, fucking house
leaving
explosion we didn't even
pictures.
call or talk about at all.
I don't even know. I don't know.
There's
This
a point
movie-
where they're all in a house and then they're running in and out of the house to read a fax machine to find out which of them is going to survive. Obviously leave the fucking house. Luckily Dewey and Gale are smart enough, but the stupid actors are like, I want to know. And then the guy's like, the one that will live is anyone who can smell the gas. And then blows up. What the hell? Anyway, but so Roman gets shot by Dewey like 4 times there. Then at the mansion at the end, Sid shoots him like 4 times in the chest. He just gets up and leaves, which, by the way, he's shot lying on the ground. She doesn't, one, think to go over and like
Give him a double tap.
give him a double tap. 2, Dewey and Gale, just like I said, saw this guy get shot 4 times and be fine. Also, they saw the Randy video where he was like, you can shoot him and it's not going to do shit. And they didn't think to be like, we know you just shot him 4 times, Sydney, but like you should probably make sure that he's incapacitated.
Yeah.
But no, they just like are like, untie us, and then he's gone. And then Sydney shoots him another like 4 times later. And he's like, I got the bulletproof vest on, dumbass. And it's like, you've been shot, 12 times in the last 10 hours? 12 hours, 24 hours? I don't know.
Yeah. Too many times.
At least like 8 times in the last hour. Like,
Yeah.
you should not be okay. And then after he's dead and like has been stabbed like 3 times by Sydney, 3 times because she has the line where after stabbing him twice, he's like, I still made my movie. And then she goes, stab 3, right? Stabs him a 3rd time. I thought that was,
Of course.
of all the corny one-liners, I was like, that was okay.
Yeah.
That one can stay. But
you.
then they make a joke, as they do, about how he's going to get up again. And then Sid's like, he's not getting up again. And I was like, okay, thank God. Then he gets up again.
Yeah.
And is like, does the usual like, like doing way too fucking much thing. And then Dewey shoots him like, what, 15 times?
Oh, yeah.
And then
he
they're
empties,
all
like 3 clips into him.
and then they all yell at him to they're like, shoot him in the fucking head. And he's like, what? And even the Roman is like, shoot me, kill me. Like, everyone's like, Dewey, just shoot him in the head. And then
He's
he finally
shooting him
does.
in the chest, and then Roman's like being pushed back. Like it's like
Yeah.
it's just like a little force pushing him backwards. Like he can't run forward because he keeps getting shot in the chest, but there's no other thing that's happening to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like,
It's
what?
crazy. Here's the thing. I feel the same way about them doing it in the other ones, but certainly in this one, I was kind of annoyed because there was even a little moment where, like, despite this guy being insane, despite this guy killing a bunch of people, despite this guy trying to kill Sydney and hating her mom, like, there's a moment where he's dying and she, like, grabs his hand as he's dying and just, like, is there with him for a moment because, like, they are siblings in a
Yeah.
way. Like, they share a mom. They are, like, blood related. And I feel like that was a moment of her being like kind of dropping the hate and just kind of being like, I'm still going to be here
Yeah.
for my brother, even though he's a horrible, horrible person. And I was like, oh, that was a very nice moment. Then he does his fucking zombie comeback, goofy Dewey shoot him in the head thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that kind of undercut the moment and was just stupid. But at the same
Well, 'cause-
time, it was very funny because it's so fucking stupid.
The thing with villains doing that in movies is like if you're still a little alive and you think you can survive, just wait because then you'll be able to go at them again like in a month.
Yeah.
Like there's no point to tell them that you're still alive.
Yeah.
I
Literally
don't
wait
know.
like 5 minutes and
Yeah,
they will
just wait for them to
probably
leave the
be out
room.
of the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this works as a door to close the franchise.
Yeah.
They do a lot of like wrap up Sydney's story arc or like emotional beats.
I mean, they literally do Dewey and Gale get engaged as they look upon Sydney and her dog, let me check, named Cherokee. We'll see if that's allowed.
Dog's name?
Yeah. And they
And she
like they're
doesn't
looking
use
upon
the
her being like,
security thing
she's
on
doing
her.
so well.
She
Yeah,
doesn't
and then she
do the
doesn't close the
security on
door.
gate. Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't do the security on the gate, and then they're like going to watch a movie or something, which Patrick Dempsey's there for some reason.
Lovers.
Oh, well, whatever. Weird. But then she like goes to close the door and the door doesn't fully close, and she like looks at it for a minute and she makes the decision to leave the door open. Leave the door open. Silk Sonic.
There he is.
But I liked that. I was like, that's a really sweet note to
Yeah.
end on, her being like, I feel like I can feel safe, and even if I'm not, like, I'm gonna deal with it. Like, I'm gonna take control of my life and not let this dictate every single thing I do. So like, it did feel like a satisfying end to a trilogy, to be honest. Even if it had like its obvious flaws, it felt to me like a satisfying end to the trilogy, and it felt like it's tough because it was like, it felt like it was the best made of the three, but it also had some of the dumbest parts. It honestly felt like how 2 felt, but more so, where I was like, it doesn't feel quite as like crisp and clean as the first one, but it does a lot of it better. And then this way I'm like, I don't think it's as crisp or clean as the other two, but it does a lot of it better. Anyway.
I think that's fair. There is one more thing I'd like to just, like, I don't think we're the ones to litigate it, but I think there is like an interesting conversation around the perspective on Sydney's mom in these 3 movies.
Yeah.
Where everyone is like calling her like a whore and like saying that she is like the reason why people want to like commit murders, and like everything is motivated from her transgression, which is she was a little bit promiscuous.
Yeah, which like even Sydney like makes comments where she makes a comment to her dad about, she's like, do you ever think about mom and like how none of this would be happening if she hadn't done any of the things that she did? And like there's a point later where she's talking to Detective Patrick Dempsey about, she like mentions that she thought she knew her family and we had the perfect family, but then I found out my mom wasn't who I thought she was, and then I thought I did know who she was after that, and then more secrets came out after that. And it was like, it feels like you're saying everyone in the movie, including Sydney, is kind of just like, yeah, she was bad. It's like, it sounds like she just, it doesn't sound like she was
Had a
bad.
life.
It sounds like, yeah, she just didn't feel.
God forbid an 18-year-old goes to Hollywood to try and get famous. You know, bad things happen to her. I don't think it's her fault.
No. And it
But,
sounds
like-
like she left once things got bad. It sounds like she was like, oh, this is not for me, and left.
Yeah, and then she goes back to Woodsboro, probably has a bit of a dull marriage and dull life.
Yeah.
Has a little affair, as some people do. And then all of a sudden there's like school shooters.
Yeah.
Like it's I don't think it's her fault, but
Yeah.
I think there's probably space for like a much smarter person to do a 45-minute video essay on this.
Yeah, I think there's definitely something there. I felt that especially when they were doing that whole bit where like you see her mom like walking up through the gate at her house, and then like it was weird. It was almost like implied like she was dreaming about seeing the mom walking up, and then woke up from the dream. But then you still, from the shot of her waking up, you see her look past the camera, and then the mom is still is just like at the window, full clear 4K HD, like full frame, just there. And it's like they're trying to make her seem like some ghastly, ghostly, like awful.
Well, she's like a demon in this movie. She's
Yeah.
haunting Sydney. She's like, she's haunting Sydney the whole movie.
Yeah.
She's a demon. I don't know.
Which is a bit
It's
of a weird. It's a bit of a weird characterization to villainize that. But anyway,
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
what are you gonna do?
I have 2 more questions.
Yeah.
What did you think of the trilogy? I think you landed pretty positively on it.
Yeah, I feel like they got better as they went, goofier as they went, sloppier as they went, but like overall, I feel like it's a pretty cohesive 3.
And then, what do you think happens in 4?
If I were to-
comes out like 14 years later, something like that. 12
If I were to guess, and I might be wrong, but if I were to guess, I would guess this is where they swerve a little bit,
Okay.
and go. I don't know. Is it called Scream 4?
Yeah. Do you know anyone who's in this movie?
No. And I'm not going to look it up until I am watching the movie. I kind of like just randomly people showing up. But
It's quite the cast.
if I were to guess, I think we're swerving and starting a new thing where like maybe 1 or 2 of them are, but for the most part, the characters we know and love are not present. If I were to guess,
Okay.
and we're kind of starting a new thing. I could see it being the opposite, where they. But I don't know. When did 4 come out? Like 2011 or something?
2011, yeah.
Dude, I nailed that shit. That's crazy. I had no idea when this movie came out, so like I had no
2000.
reference. There you go.
Right after the millennium, man. Y2K.
So like, yeah, 2011, I don't know if they would have felt like they had to have everyone back for the sequel. They probably just saw it as a soft reboot, if I was to guess.
Well, we'll see. We'll
see.
I don't know. You want to end this son of a gun?
Thanks everybody for listening or watching if you're watching. But thanks for listening too.
I'm brain mogging you right now.
Why don't you try to outro it? It's always me.
Thank you for listening / watching to our Scream 3 episode. Scream
This
4
guy's-
will be coming out.
This guy thought he
soon
would
enough.
frame mog me.
I am frame mogging you right now. Scream 4 will be coming out soon enough if Adam can get his SHIT together and watch the movie. You like that? Thank you for being here, and give us a little follow or whatever on whatever platform you use, and we will see you next week. Maybe.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.